a campaign with Mac is badass, but a campaign with Mac with Cher. I mean, what was your reaction when you found out this was happening?
So, for one, when they told me that it was Mac, I was like, you can't be serious. Like, no, we're serious. And then they were like, we have one more surprise for you. And I'm like, what? And they're like, it's gonna be with Cher. Girl, I screamed. I screamed.
Had you met Cher prior to this?
No, I didn't, but when we were on set, she snuck into my dressing room with like a hoodie on, a mask on, and glasses. And I'm like, who is this woman? She's like, girl, it's me, Cher. I'm like,
oh my.
Yeah, it was a surprise. She came very low key, so just loving, adorable. Came in just to introduce herself, and I'm like, girl, I should be coming to your trailer.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell me about what your first impressions of her were, and what she, like, what's her aura? What does she smell like? That's what I want to know.
Her aura is powerful. It's demanding, and that's what I love about it the most. She knows what she wants, and I learned a lot from her that day. She's very hands-on, so I love being around her.
Tell me about your, you are such a beauty icon. Your looks are so amazing. Your makeup is always so snatched and perfect.
Thank you.
I know you talk a lot about your grandma and the women in your life being an inspiration in your beauty routine. How did they really inspire you and kind of create that space for you?
Well, one thing that I'll say about the women in my family, I watch them work. I watch them do their makeup, put on lotions, perfume. Like, they're all goddesses. Independent women, have their own jobs, own places. So I think at a young age, I knew that I wanted to be just like them. From both of my grandmothers to my moms, my mom, my aunties. But I'm just grateful to be raised in a village of women who are powerful and who knew themselves.
Yeah, I totally get it. I'm the same. If I didn't, it's like my memories with my mom as a little girl watching her do her makeup is how I learned, you know? So it's so important we have those figures in our lives.
Absolutely.
You just came out with a new look, this hair. I'm obsessed with it. I think it's so bold. Tell me why you made this decision for 2022.
With 2022, with my album coming out, with me meditating, discovering a higher version of myself, a higher self, I just felt like it was time to evolve. I genuinely feel like I'm a butterfly, and this was my metamorphosis. I shed my shell, which was like my hair, the old energy, the old emotions, the old desires, and I felt like a new woman. So it's essentially a rebirth of Saweetie.
I'm obsessed with that. What do you think was that old stuff that you shed?
As far as wanting, or
I guess, like, for me, when I shed it, it's like fear, anxiety, like things like that.
You know what a really big one was for me? Ego. Yeah, so the more I study meditation, your chakras, first of all, meditation is about concentration and awareness, and chakras are the energy points throughout your body. I was so arrogant at first. I was like, I don't need that. I don't know what chakras is. And then when I actually studied it, it made sense. And I was like, girl, shame on you for being ignorant. But I learned that ego was a big deal for me. And I felt like my ego went away when I shaved my hair off.
That is really interesting, really interesting, especially in this business. Ego is a main, source of a lot of people's, it's what they walk in, right?
But what I will say is ego can protect you, It can give you a sense of pride. I feel like ego is good for setting boundaries. But as far as, giving love, receiving love, helping one another, accepting help, like, ego is a big thing for me. So I'm happy that whatever that energy was holding, girl, it just, it slid off.
I love it. Tell me, what is your go-to beauty hack that everyone would be shocked about?
honestly, girl, I'm like Dr. Pimple Popper. I have a toolkit. I got it from Amazon. I got it from Amazon. I have like 6 tools in there, and I pop like my pimples, my blackheads. It gets serious.
I want to talk about the music. Your life changed so rapidly, and you became a household name so quickly.
With no album out.
No album. It's shocking. What is that? What does that feel like for you?
You know, I didn't notice it until, you know who pointed it out? My dad. And receiving love from my mom and my dad, and for them to know my accolades more than me, because I just be working. And he told me that he was listing everything off, and I was like, I need to appreciate that. And that's another thing I'm working on too, is just being in a state of gratitude.
So 2 Grammy nominations, NAACP nominations. What do these mean to you without even releasing a debut album yet?
It feels great. It makes me feel like I'm doing something right. I have to admit, sometimes I do see the constructive, even destructive criticisms, and it's just like, I'm doing something right, so be mad.
No, listen. These awards mean something,
Right.
and you're on the right track here. The debut album, people are freaking out. Everyone is like, I looked at your socials. They're borderline harassing you at this point. Everyone wants to know when it's coming, what we can expect. What can you share with us?
I'm really excited because I have a whole plan, and I'm gonna actually be recording in real time. I did my IC Live series, but I'm gonna do like a Pretty B music like vlog. So everything that I'm doing, my fans, the world, will be able to see it in real time.
Okay.
I'm gonna be locked out. Like, I've never had an opportunity to record in peace. I've always been recording in different cities, in between shoots, when I'm fatigued. So I'm really excited that I can record in peace with no distractions.
That's amazing. Can we expect some collaborations on it?
Yes, I have a wish list. See, I know what you're about to do.
I have a wish list for you.
What's yours?
Well, I know people have told you this before, Rihanna. Is that something you'd like to do in the future? I know you've said.
She's at the top of my wish list. Yes, I love her as a woman, as a philanthropist, as a musician, of course, a fashionista, and she's just hella bomb.
She really is. Who would we be surprised to know is also on the wish list?
See, I like to keep my wish list to myself because I don't want to say it and then it don't happen. But one thing that I'm really focused on with this album is I want it to feel like art. I want the songs, well, the songs will, I'll say it like that because I know they will. The songs will feel, the visuals will feel like they belong in the museum. Like, I've been studying a lot of art, and I really want to take my craft there. Of course, I'm gonna slowly like feed my fan base. I'm not gonna do a quick 180, but I really want to make sure that I'm concentrating on the message.
I hear you. You want to give us something different, but also still true to
I would say elevated. Because even when I cut my hair, they're like, oh, new hair, new you. And I'm like, no, new year elevated me.
Right.
Yeah, because I don't feel new. I just feel elevated. I have a higher sense of like awareness, responsibility. So I do feel like I have to be careful. Not even careful, but I'm going to pay attention to what my next message is.